yeah.
Yes, with her mama.
Yeah, this was part of a piece she did with the New York Times, where you got to see inside her kitchen. And a lot of the discussion that came out before was for the series with Love Meghan. It's a fake kitchen. It's a set.
Right,
you know, it's a rented property. But actually, with this post online, we saw inside the real kitchen. You know, Tuscan styled, 2 islands. Really quite lovely.
That's the dream, isn't it?
That is the dream.
That's a lot of islands.
That's a lot of islands and a lot of stuff. What do you think? Do you think this is, I mean, initially there's going to be lots of people wanting to have this. Is this something that she could be Martha Stewart?
I mean, I guess so. But I mean, it's like, you don't, I feel for Meghan because it's a difficult situation. You leave the UK, you don't know what to do, you've got to do something.
Of course.
It's, you know, you want to do this, but I wish we were capable of just not watching what we didn't like.
Exactly.
And just leaving her to it. It's like, it's not for me, I'm not going to watch it.
That's the thing, because there's a lot of people that would hate watching that series, and that's not good.
Well, also, it's fine. It's like, if you want to waste your own time, then do.
Yeah.
But she's laughing because you're giving her the views, so...
Of course, and the marketing for it was great that you had to sign up, didn't you? You had to... Yeah.
I think one of the lovely things about that video she put out was she was making something called Chantilly Lily.
Chantilly Lily, her wee daughter.
That's nice.
And people were saying that there was a marketing ploy to have everything sell out quite quickly by only having a small number of quantities available of each product, so it generates interest.
And then a demand.
So that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
If you do a launch of anything, you're not, and that's what I'd do. I'd put 1 or 2 items on it. Be like,
hey guys, we're sold out. After 2 minutes, we're sold out completely.
Everyone wants what they can't have, so interest is really there.
No,
it says sold out.
Yeah.
Can't wait to try it when it becomes available again.
Exactly. Very clever. Listen, stay with us, because after the break...
Well. Looks like Lorraine Kelly didn't get what she wanted today. A rather intriguing turn of events unfolded on the set of the Lorraine TV show. Usually we witness a narrative that's quite predictable, a narrative that's been rehearsed and regurgitated more times than we care to count. But this time, the script was flipped. Lorraine Kelly, the host, is no stranger to controversy. With her long-standing reputation for pushing an anti-Meghan agenda, she found herself in an unexpected predicament. Her usual guests, who often echo her sentiments, took a stance that left her speechless. Yes, you heard it right. They refused to partake in the habitual Meghan bashing that has become a staple of the show. One guest went on to say something that, quite frankly, we all should take note of. If you don't like her, don't buy it, because honestly, hate-watching or hate-buying just helps her brand. This statement is a beacon of sense in what usually feels like a sea of negativity. It's a refreshing reminder that we, as consumers, have a choice in what we choose to engage with and support. But the plot thickens. Lorraine Kelly, the very person who has been so vocal about her disdain for Meghan, ordered Meghan's jam all the way from the United States. So we have to ask ourselves, why would she do that? Is Lorraine suddenly a fan? Or is this another ploy to keep herself relevant in the public eye? The answer seems quite clear. Lorraine Kelly tasted her own medicine today, quite literally. Her guests chose not to feed into the negativity. They chose to steer clear of the usual hate-watching and fake outrage that has become all too common on her show. And Lorraine was left with nothing to say. And let's be real. Lorraine Kelly is used to bringing on people who will push her anti-Meghan narrative. But this time she was met with facts and she didn't like it one bit. Perhaps this encounter will serve as a wake-up call for Lorraine, and she will start taking her own advice. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Oh, but it gets even funnier! Let's delve a little deeper into the hypocrisy of Lorraine Kelly, shall we? Here's the juicy bit. Lorraine Kelly, the same woman who just can't seem to stop criticising Meghan, went out of her way to order Meghan's jam all the way from the United States. Yes, you heard it right, the same Meghan she's been publicly bashing on her show. Now this raises quite a few eyebrows, doesn't it? Is Lorraine Kelly suddenly a fan of Meghan? Has she developed a secret penchant for her jam? Or is this just another one of her ploys to stir up more PR for herself? After all, controversy does sell, and Lorraine Kelly knows that better than anyone. So let's analyse this, shall we? Here we have a woman who has made it her mission to push an anti-Meghan narrative on her show. Yet, behind the scenes, she's going out of her way to order Meghan's products. The irony is almost too delicious to ignore. It's like a vegetarian secretly munching on a steak when nobody's watching. But let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe she genuinely likes the jam. Maybe she's a fan. But then why use her platform to continuously berate Meghan? Why not use that same platform to promote something she apparently enjoys? It doesn't quite add up, does it? Or perhaps this is just another attempt to keep herself in the spotlight. By ordering Meghan's jam, she's not only keeping herself relevant, but also fueling the fire of the controversy she's been so keen to stir up. It's a clever move, but it's also a glaring display of hypocrisy. We're left with more questions than answers. But one thing is clear, Lorraine Kelly's actions don't match her words. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the very definition of hypocrisy. We know the answer. Lorraine Kelly got a taste of her own medicine today, literally. And as they say, the proof of the pudding, or in this case the jam, is in the eating. No hate-watching, no fake outrage, just guests refusing to feed into the negativity. That's the theme of the day on the Lorraine TV show, and what a refreshing change of pace it was. Guests who usually dance to Lorraine's tune instead chose to march to the beat of their own drum, a beat that sounded a lot like common sense. The guests, much to Lorraine's chagrin, refused to participate in her usual routine of Meghan bashing. One guest even had the audacity, or should we say the honesty, to voice what many have been thinking. If you don't like her, don't buy it, because honestly, hate-watching or hate-buying just helps her brand. It was a simple sentiment, but one that struck a nerve. The guests' refusal to partake in the negativity was not just a stand against the tired narrative, but a stand for something more. They chose to push back against the easy route of joining in the criticism, and instead spoke their minds. And these minds spoke of reason and logic, not of blind hatred or bias. And oh, how the tables turned. Lorraine, the puppeteer who's used to pulling the strings, found herself on the other end. She was left without a script, without a narrative, and without her usual backup chorus of Meghan critics. The guests weren't there to support her anti-Meghan agenda. They were there to speak the truth, to bring a different perspective to the table, to challenge the status quo. Perhaps it was a wake-up call for Lorraine. Her guests showed her that not everyone is willing to play into her hands. They reminded her that sometimes it's more important to stand up for what's right than to simply go along with the crowd. And that's a lesson we all could learn from. But the real kicker, the most surprising, most unexpected, most deliciously ironic part of the whole ordeal was Lorraine's response, or rather, her lack of one. For the first time in what feels like forever, Lorraine Kelly was left speechless. And for once, Lorraine was left with nothing to say. Next time, maybe Lorraine should take her own advice. If you don't like it, don't buy it. This is the advice that was given to Lorraine Kelly on her own show. A statement that reverberated throughout the studio, leaving her speechless and us, the viewers, with something to ponder. It's a simple lesson, really. One that we all learn at a tender age. If you don't appreciate something, don't engage with it. Don't give it your time, your energy, or your money. Yet it seems that Lorraine Kelly has been struggling to grasp this concept. Her continuous efforts to push her anti-Meghan narrative, despite clear opposition from her guests, is a testament to her stubbornness. She seems to prefer controversy over compromise, sensationalism over sensibility. But perhaps it's time for a change. Perhaps it's time for Lorraine to take a step back and reflect on her actions. She must realize that her attempts to vilify Meghan are not only unfair, but also unproductive. They do nothing but fuel the fire of negativity and division. Instead, she could use her platform to foster understanding and empathy. She could lead discussions that enlighten rather than alienate. She could invite guests who offer diverse perspectives and contribute to a more balanced and nuanced discourse. In essence, Lorraine needs to learn how to respect differences, to accept that not everyone shares her views, and to stop trying to impose her own beliefs on others. She needs to understand that it's perfectly fine for people to like Meghan, to buy her products, to support her endeavours. It's their choice, their right, just as it's her right to dislike Meghan. But what's not right is her relentless campaign against Meghan, her relentless efforts to tarnish her image, her relentless attempts to turn her guests into accomplices in her anti-Meghan crusade. So here's hoping that Lorraine takes this incident as a wake-up call, as an opportunity to review and revise her approach. Because at the end of the day, it's not about who's right or wrong, it's about respect and understanding. But something tells me she just can't resist keeping Meghan's name in her mouth.